Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Healthy Business Healthy Family Show. If you're listening to us on iTunes or if you're joining us on Blab, we show up as the Double Your Business in 90 Days or Less. So we are into May, and I don't know about you, but if you've got kids, I know Amy has kids, I'm just hoping I can make it through May. How about you, Amy? Are you on the same bandwagon as me?
Absolutely. Boy, everything. Yeah. Can't wait till June 2nd. Last day.
Yes. You know, last week was crazy enough. For those of you that don't know, I'm pretty heavily, one of my love languages is service. So I typically do a lot of service. And right now I'm in a very big commitment for our school PTA for teacher appreciation. And my school is a little bit on crack. I will admit that, but you know what? We have awesome teachers and they don't want to go anywhere. And if you have boys like I do, you want your teachers to think very fondly of you. So we do something for teacher appreciation every day of the week last week. Plus we had volunteer commitments for one of my son's scout troops that we had to do 16 hours worth of service over 3 days. You know, I'm tired. It was a long week last week. Plus, as Amy and I were talking about before the show, I injured the back of my ankle, got 3 stitches. So, you know, why spread anything out? So that's why we're all kind of ready for the end of May. But I thought we would have a little fun on today's show. We are live on Blab every Monday afternoon at 1:30 Central. So if you are listening to this or watching the recording on the yourbizrules.com website, feel free to join us. It's kind of fun. In fact, it's more fun for me. I'm going to be selfish here. It's really more fun for me if you're here. But I think everybody has a great time when we've got some interactions going on in the chat room. Now, we're excited because right now, knocking on wood, technology seems to be working with us. But, you know, it is Blab. It is the wild, wild west out here. So you never know what's going to happen. You just have to roll with the punches. So today I thought we'd talk about the 7 Shark Tank secrets to small business success. Amy, do you watch the Shark Tank in your house?
Occasionally we watch it. It's not a regular, but I've seen it many times.
Okay, well, Christian, my youngest, who strangely enough is not like the salesman of the family. My oldest is really like the salesman, and I talk about him on our blog about sales secrets I've learned from my son. But my younger son loves Shark Tank. Like I had to walk out yesterday when he was walking. I literally wanted to take the business owner by their ear and drag them out of the room. They were so like shooting themselves in the foot. But I as I was sitting there, you know, there's an attraction to Shark Tank. We like watching Shark Tank, and I think, you know, for so many business owners, you might even have a dream of being on Shark Tank. But if you watched enough Shark Tank, you can start to guess which ideas, which pitches are going to make it and which ones are going to flop. So with that in mind, I kind of wanted to talk about what these seven, you know, secrets that I just gained from one episode that I was like, I'm just going to write them down. And there's stuff, you know, I know there's stuff that I share with my business coaching clients, but I thought it was fun that you've got these multimillionaires that are saying the same thing. So the number one, the first thing we're going to talk about is that your belief in your idea is not enough. And that seems counterintuitive, doesn't it? Because we've all heard those people go, but I believe so much in my idea. I believe in my business. And I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just saying it's not enough. You know, you need to be passionate. You need to believe in it. But belief doesn't fill the bank account. And that was so funny because wrote that down, and then, you know, 45 minutes later after I've written this down, Mark Cuban goes, but belief is not enough. And if you watch enough Shark Tank, you can see how so many people go up there, and as they're getting challenged by the investors, they're like, but I believe, and belief isn't proof. I think it's the number one thing to say. There are other parts of your business that prove concept. And that is one of those key aspects that a lot of startups don't necessarily get right from the beginning, is that belief isn't enough. You've got to get proof of concept. And what is proof of concept? Proof of concept is sales. Proof of concept is attraction. Proof of concept is being able to get momentum. So that was number one, is belief in your idea is just not enough. So, all right. So the next one, oh, I love this one because it's such a common thing. You know, so much about being in business nowadays, especially I think for women, but also for some guys out there, is we don't pay ourselves. We have this notion that we can only pay ourselves when we've earned it or when our business is successful enough. And I have fallen into the same trap. I mean, my first business, I went 3 years without paying myself. 3 years. I volunteered in my business while I paid everybody else. I had staff. I paid them. I paid my vendors, but I didn't pay myself. You're not going to be a hero in your business if you're not paying yourself. And this is so key. So let me talk about this because that's the secret, is you're not going to be the hero in your business if you're not paying for yourself. If you ever had the idea that you want to sell your business, that'd be nice to do, wouldn't it, Amy? Be able to sell our businesses off to somebody and retire on the income.
Absolutely. Or start a new business, something
Or
else.
start a new business, you know, whichever you want to do. But here's the thing. If that's your goal in life, if that's what you think you're going to do, that's going to be your retirement, is that you're going to have the ability to sell your business. An investor doesn't want to buy a job. An investor wants to buy a company. So this was so funny when we were watching the episode, and we were watching off of Netflix or Hulu or something like that. But it was basically, they said, the sharks asked the entrepreneur, so how much are you paying yourself? And he said, I'm not paying myself, I'm reinvesting it back into the company. The minute he said, I'm not paying himself, all the sharks went, oh. Because it means it's a job or it's a hobby or it's a volunteer. Listen, smart business building says you cost your company. I cost my company. Amy costs her company. We all are a cost in our company. You might as well build a company that can pay for that cost from the beginning versus trying to figure out how you're going to work it in at the end. That's just my financial philosophy on business. It's a lot of people's financial philosophies on business. But if you're looking at getting investors, selling your business, I've talked to business brokers that say the same thing again for people that want to sell their businesses eventually, is you have to pay yourself a salary. Because if you were to sell that business, the investor's going to hire somebody else to put it in that place. They're not going to be doing your job. So that's our second kind of secret from Shark Tank. We're doing really well, Evan. We've got Evan coming on and saying howdy out there and asking us how we're doing, but we're doing good. And we're talking about the 7 Shark Tank secrets to small business success. So the first one was belief in your idea is not enough. And the second one is you are no hero in your business if you are not paying yourself. The third one, because it's going to be a short show, I think, Amy, but we're having a little fun with it. The third one is know your numbers. Now, this is one of our rules in Your Biz Rules, is knowing your numbers. And even if my clients don't know their numbers, guess what? They will by the time we're done working with them. In fact, I had a proud mama moment, and I had a doctor's office, and we were sitting there, and they brought in their numbers, and we've been looking at numbers for every meeting for 6 months, and they took over. They were like, oh, well, look at what this number is telling us in CC, and here's how much growth we've had, and oh, we need to pay attention to this over here, and da-da-da-da-da. That was a really proud mama moment for me, because most business owners don't look at the numbers in their business. That's exactly right, Evan. We're sharing a lot here. And if I can save you some heartache in business, whether I'm coaching you or not, I'm all in it, because that's how we all kind of move forward. But if you look at those numbers, and there's, for the Your Biz Rules world, there's 7 figures to know in your business. I'd say go to the Your Biz Rules website at yourbizrules.com and just type in 7 figures at the top, and it will pull up a couple of the blog articles and podcasts that I've done explaining those. And I think we even have a Blab article or Blab episode on that. But you want to go out there and find those numbers. Those numbers are the secret health to your business. Do you notice that the minute somebody stops pitching on Shark Tank, what are the sharks asking for? So what was your sales? How many purchase orders do you have? Where's your inventory? How much inventory are you holding? What is your debt? What are you making? What's your profit? Where, what. They want to know all the numbers. That one little thing to me is knowing your numbers is key, but it's also like one of those really, really easy ways to get a 10% boost in your business. And that's because if you are conscious of your business and especially conscious about where you want that business to grow, then subconsciously your brain's working the problem. My brain works too many problems at once some days, but that's okay. And it is a number game. Like Evan's saying out in our chat box, it is a number game. Get over it. Unless you are doing this as a hobby, you got to get real and you got to get into your numbers. So, oh, I love this. This cracks me up. Number 4 secret from Shark Tank. Are you ready? Here we go. 100% commitment to the plan doesn't always work. I watched a gentleman walk away for $400,000 of an investment because what was pitched to him was not the solution that he had in mind. And what was so irritating, this is the moment I wanted to take the guy by his ear and drag him out the door. He wouldn't even come back with a rebuttal. So a shark had made him an offer. He was like, no, this is what I want. He got the money that he wanted, but for whatever reason, he wanted 2 sharks in on it instead of 1. And so he was trying to finagle a way to get another shark involved. Well, here's the thing. He was sitting there going, well, I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in that. That's not what I came in asking for. And the shark honestly looked back and said, are you seriously telling me you're not going to negotiate? And he didn't. And he couldn't, honestly. And part of that reason he's so married to the solution that he had in his brain. Now, if you are a service-based business and that's who we tend to talk to a lot. But if you are a service-based business, you know that the problem and solution that your client has come up with, that they think is the answer to all their problems, isn't always the answer. Right, Amy? Amy's laughing over there. It's just not always the way. And as the expert, you probably would see the solution that would actually not just fix the symptom maybe that they're trying to do, but also fix their problem. And it looks different. When you're so rigid in the one way, you never get maybe the best way solution. And I talk, I'm from Texas and I have lots of little colloquialisms that I picked up, but my favorite one is there's more than one way to skin a cat. There's more than one way to bake a cake. There's more than one way to build a house. There are so many right ways to do things sometimes. It's just about finding the one that's the most advantageous. So number 4 in secrets from the Shark Tank is don't be 100% committed in that you're so rigid you can't see a different solution. Because you might pass up on a really good opportunity like the fool who would not come up with another solution so that he could get his $400,000 in investment money. So number 5, now this is really interesting. Debt in a business isn't always good. Isn't that interesting? So here's the really interesting part is, and especially in the situation that I think brought this up on the show, was there was a business that had investment money in it already. It had debt in it already. It was holding a lot of inventory. So it had capital that was, potential sales that wasn't being utilized. And its sales were such a small part. So here it is, it has all this liability and no advantage for an investor. And every time they said, well, how much debt? And you'll listen to this. If you watch enough of Shark Tank, you'll see they'll go, how much debt do you have? And the minute that somebody says they have an extreme amount, especially disproportionate, all the sharks go, ooh, yeah. I'm not going to touch that. Okay. In a lot of ways, you need some working capital, some flexibility to be able to grow. So that might be a line of credit. That might be some investment that somebody has made into your company. But when you're holding and growing debt, in your business, it's actually showing a lack of feasibility or a lack of proof, like we were talking at the beginning. So know that debt and working capital is something you have to manage well, but don't just take on debt to not necessarily to have debt. I don't know if anybody ever does that really, but be very smart about the debt that you have and that you bring into your business. I will let you know, my first business, I was not smart about debt, and I made some bad decisions in still paying off that debt. Okay, so a line of credit can be very, very useful in a business. It just has to be managed very smartly in a business. It can be like credit cards. They just kind of balloon out of hand. Are you liking any of these secrets to success, Amy?
Of course.
What's your favorite one so far?
Don't be so rigid.
Isn't that always interesting? You know,
And
there's
the pay yourself one, pretty much like that one too.
Yeah, I like that one too. But I think there is a Chinese proverb that I said that I read once that said something to the effect of, be like the bamboo, firmly rooted so you stay in place, but flexible enough so you blow in the wind.
Yeah.
And that's always something I keep in my mind, even with Your Biz Rules, when we're talking about putting in boundaries and rules and processes and all of those things, that's about that firmly rootedness, but we don't want them so red tape, so detailed, so confining that you can't have the flexibility of blowing in the wind, because that's what business is, and that's what the economy is. You've got to have the ability to shift. All right, so number 6 out of 7, I told you it's going to be an easy peasy show today, was cash flow and profit are king. They always will be king. And what I find so interesting here is so many businesses start, price, and sell without even considering profit. And part of that is that a lot of us get this kind of, I have another saying that I use, that basically in service, especially in services businesses, that you cannot make up in volume what you lose in margin. So that means if you don't have a whole lot of profit in your product or your service offering pricing, you won't suddenly get a lot more profit because you sell 20 of them. You'll get the same little bitty profit just 20 times. Or like I've shared sometimes in one of my speaking engagements, I had a client come in and we were looking at her business, knowing her numbers, and there were 2 numbers that were way off. Now she came in wanting to go, I need more clients, I need more clients. When we looked at those 7 figures, that was rule number 3, success secret number 3 from Shark Tanks, knowing your numbers. When we looked at her numbers, what we saw was that for every new client, she spent $1,250. And for every client, they purchased $1,420. So that's like a $170 difference. That didn't include overhead. That client was with her for 3 months. So essentially, she was losing money with every client. Well, if you have 100 clients and you're losing money on every single one, you're going to go out of business. Okay, so profit is king, and it's not a bad thing. It's an excellent thing. And here's the thing, depending on your industry and depending on if you're service-based or product-based, your profit margins could be everywhere. Now, product-based companies typically are more volume-based companies. So their profit margin tends to be smaller. Like they're looking for a 10% profit down there, but they're selling, a million widgets. As a service-based type of an environment or business, what you're looking for is more like a 50% or 60% profitability on those things, because your time is finite, right? You can't sell every minute and work every minute of your day. So you have to keep those things in perspective. Now the cash flow. Who has a cash flow report? Everyone listening, raise their hand. And a hush fell over the crowd. No, Amy's laughing at me over there. Here's the thing. I very rarely have a new client come on board who has a cash flow report, who is looking at their cash flow. And what does that mean? That basically says for the next year, you are forecasting when you will have new clients come in, how much sales you will have, and what your expenditures would be. So if you know that fourth quarter, you're always a little bit busier and you need to hire part-time help, well, in the fourth quarter, you would plan that as part of your budget. Now, what I will give you the analogy, so if you don't have a cash flow report, here's the bit of the analogy here. If you imagine this, that you are on a freeway or the U-Bahn or some other fast traffic transportation path, and you are driving 70 miles an hour. And you're driving along, and then you close your eyes. And so at 70 miles an hour, you're closing your eyes, hoping you're staying in your lane, hoping that you're not veering off to the other lane, hoping you don't, hit that pothole that sends your car tumbling over. When you're running a business without a cash flow, that's exactly what you're doing. You're going, la, 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 la. Hear no evil, see no evil. And the problem is you'll find it. You still find it. You find the pitfalls. You're just taken so much more by surprise. Versus, let's say we were going to be traveling along that same freeway, driving 70 miles an hour, but we printed out a map from Google Maps. Used to be Yahoo Maps, now it's Google Maps. Or your iPhone, right? That said, take a right turn. Traffic on here, rerouting, right? You can see where things are going to come down your path, and you make course corrections. So if there is a wreck, 3 miles up, you can exit here for this little bypass and go faster past the traffic and the accident than you would had you sat on the freeway. That's what a cash flow report does to you. It's not that it doesn't show you the pitfalls, doesn't show you the downs. It says, look, in 4 months, there's going to be downs. So you need to look at your cash situation and go, do you need more clients, or can you trim expenses so that it all evens out and is marginalized? So you're not surprised that you don't have any money in fourth quarter, because your forecast told you and gave you 9 months of being able to do something about it. So cash flow and profit is king, and you have to be very intimate with those two numbers to have that true success in your business. So that was number 6. So we've gone through 6 of, we've got some more people jumping on the line. So Amy, do you want to do a couple shout outs for us?
Sure. I was just actually doing one of the
howdy
chat. So we wanted to welcome Evan and Ron and Colin here today.
Awesome. Well, thanks guys for joining us. We are talking about the 7 success secrets that from Shark Tank. Shark Tank's one of my younger son's favorite shows. I probably could take it or leave it because I get really tired of the whining some days that occurs. But yeah, I thought we'd just kind of talk about some of the success secrets and keep today's show kind of light and fun in that realm. And if you watch Shark Tank and you have a success secret that, I haven't written down here, I actually stopped at 8, but 8 makes a horrible title. So I went with 7. I may share 8 anyways. But we've been talking about belief in your idea is not enough. You need more than just belief to have a viable business. You're not the hero in your business if you're not paying yourself. That's another big no-no from Shark Tank. Number 3 was know your numbers. 4 was 100% commitment to the plan does not always work. You can't be rigid in business and be successful. 5 is that is not always good. 6, cash flow and profit are king in a business. So we're down to the last one, and then I'll bonus you one. Haha. But 7 really is that you can't buy your way. You can't buy the way to success without proof of concept. I know I talked about proof of concept before, but just because you spend more money on it doesn't mean that it's going to work. And I see so many times that we have that kind of rigid commitment to our own ideas or to the way we think things should work out, that we fail to see the nuances or fail to understand that our market doesn't really want it, or there's not enough, as many people in our market to actually desire it and purchase it. That case study I shared with you a little bit ago about how we had a client come in whose cost of acquisition was out of alignment with their average sale, and they were basically losing on every money. Do you know what they did? They actually closed that business down and started a new one where they're making a ton more money and having a lot more fun. They're not so committed to the how. They're committed to the what, but not the how. So when you look at this as a way of, there's a point in time to where you have to say enough is enough. You know, I want you to be dedicated. I want you to have discipline. I want you to put forth the effort, because half the time that's the problem, is people aren't, you know, putting enough effort to an idea or a concept or a business to have something happen. But if you've given that your 110% and it's month 6 and you're still throwing $10,000 into your business and you don't even see an end in sight, I got to say, you might need to take a step back and make sure you can stop the bleeding, because you cannot buy your way into success. Now, you can buy your way into buying clients, but if you've spent enough money and it's been 6 months and you've done all the things you should be doing, which is a lot, it shows you really quick whether or not you have a proof of concept. That's why I love some concepts that really have come in through the internet marketing world, and in this whole way of presenting products without having full development, because you can kind of, it's like the spaghetti test, right? You take a piece of spaghetti out of the pot, you throw it up against the wall, you see if it sticks. If it doesn't stick, you let it percolate a little bit more, you let it boil a little more, you take a piece of spaghetti out and you let it stick. That's that mad scientist. I'm getting some laughter on the chat, but I want to give you these ideas and this visual so that when you're in your business on a day-to-day basis, you can go, oh, I need to throw the spaghetti up against the wall. You know, I need to be the mad scientist in my business so that I can figure it out and let it evolve. But at some point in time, if it's not working, it's not working. And so you just need to have the fortitude and the strength, really, to walk away from that, to go find what it is that would work. Okay, I'm going to do the bonus here, and then we'll say thanks. I think we've had a couple more people. Cash Crunch Games. That kind of sounds like fun, doesn't it, Amy? Cash Crunch Games. I'll have to go check you out and see what that's all about. I was thinking about games. Mostly I was thinking about games because business should be fun, right? And that's one of the things I bring into my clients' businesses is a little fun, even when it's not so fun to be in business. Personal finance game for teens and older. Awesome. Love that. Don't you wish all these things were available when we were teens? There was nothing cool. Well, we wouldn't have thought it was cool, but really it's a good skill to learn. Yep. Back then, but I wish we had half as much as we have on the market now than when we were kids. All right, so the number 8, drum roll, your bonus kind of success secret that we haven't talked about is always be looking for a quote unquote quick or relative return. This is one of these key concepts that I try to explain to people, is the difference between being a business owner, because a business owner or a worker in a business, somebody that's just created a job for themselves and call it a business, that is about saving money. So there's always this not enough going on. Okay, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. I need to save money. I can't make an investment because then if I made the investment, I wouldn't have money here, and I have to save. Well, the difference between that small business owner worker kind of mindset and an entrepreneurial mindset is the difference between saving and investing. Your business should be an investment. You are going to invest time into your business, right? We all invest time. You're going to invest money. You're going to invest a lot of energy and spirit into a business. It needs to give something back. You know, this is not a one-way street. It needs to have some payoff. And I'm always interested in what people's payoffs are, especially if they're doing something that sounds really hard and lengthy and, well, not fun or not even profitable. I'm always asking about what's the payoff? What's going to happen when that happens? What's going to change? What does that do for you? How does that make you feel? All of these things are, what the return on investment that you want in your business. When you invest marketing, the return on investment is clients and sales, right? When you invest in technology, the return on investment is time, is freedom. When you invest in people, again, the return on investment should be the ability to do more, the ability to have more sales, serve more clients, free up your time. There's an investment that you are making at every step of growth in your business. You have to expect a return. And being really key on that is really kind of interesting. I've got a comment out here in the chat box. It says from Cash Crunch Games, it says, unfortunately, people are more flippant when spending other people's money. That is true sometimes. I know for me, I'm the reverse. If it's somebody else's money, I'm much more rigid, not rigid, careful with it than if it were my money. I probably would take a little more risks with my money, but that's just kind of me as an entrepreneur. I'm willing to risk my stuff, but I'm not willing to risk everybody else's for it necessarily. You know, I think if you look at these rules of success that we talked about, is really, you know, that first one of you're looking as an investment. If you could turn on the investment mindset in your business and then went out and asked for cash, you've already thought through how are things going to work? How am I going to be able to pay things back? How am I going to do this? Versus somebody that goes, crap, I'm going to go out of business in 30 days. I need to go find $50,000 so that I can make payroll. That's a really big difference there. I'm being told I'm old school. How many times have you lent something out and they haven't taken care of it? You know, I'm going to say Cash Crunch Games, and it might be a topic of conversation for another episode. This is my deal with God, and this is just my personal deal with God. If I'm asked for money, the way that I show God that I'm thankful for what I have, if I can do it, I do, and I give freely without any expectation of something coming to return. But here's what's really interesting. I'm trying to remember who I had this conversation with, and they were, actually, it was at the Texas A&M Entrepreneurship Day here in Dallas in February, I think, of this year, and they were talking about financing, and we were also talking about asking friends and family for financial investment into a business, which can make really a lot of muddy waters, a lot of stickiness. Has to be done with the right way. But the number one concept or thought that came out is, if you are investing in a family or friend, you need to understand that you are investing in your belief of the person. And the best thing you could do for yourself is to not expect it to come back. So if you have to have the money returned and growth returned as a way for you to be financially secure, don't make that investment. But if you are believing in somebody else and can let go of the money and allow it to grow, but don't necessarily, be pleasantly surprised. That's the way a lot of people look at investing in friends and family. So that's just, I wanted to kind of share with that. I know I'm old school in some ways. I'm an old soul at 40, 42. But I think, there's still some beauty to that. And I also think there's some beauty to having a business that runs on some old school principles of business and keeps things simple. So Colin's saying he's 51 too. You know what? It's all relative, isn't it? I have a hard time believing I'm 40. Every once in a while I'm like, when did I get a house, 2 cars, 2 kids, the cats, and all of this stuff? It's just kind of really interesting. So that is those are the secrets that I have seen on Shark Tank. I will go ahead and unlock a seat here for just a minute, and we'll see if anybody else wants to come on and talk about some of the secrets they've seen that they want to share. We're just having a fun episode here today. Talking about something new, something that I'm sure everyone has an opinion on out there, and then go. But yes, by all means, if you're going to borrow money and look at things, do it ethically. There's a lot of things that I talk about that you have to do it with ethics, and if you can't, then don't. It's the easiest way to save yourself some heartache out here. Well, thank you. I'm being told we had some great explanations. I love that. But would love to see if we have any questions. I opened up the seat to see if there's anybody out there that just wants to chat for a second on these on the success secrets that I shared, and go from there. Amy, while we're waiting, why don't we go ahead and just post a quick link. One of the things I love to share with everyone is our marketing quick fix. It is just 87 ways that you can boost your leads in your business and use them to grow your business, because a lot of times we have to fund our own growth in our business, and you need to know what costs and what doesn't cost and how quickly you can get that into your business. And that's just one of my little growth hacker tips and tools and strategies that I share with you. So you can grab that at yourbizrules.com/marketing quick fix. Alrighty, well, I think we're good. I think everybody's pretty good today. We've got lots of action in it's a great resource for bootstrappers. There are some bootstrappers kind of qualities in there. I'm going to bring on Colin Porter here in just a second. But I got to tell you that not all growth is bootstrapped, and at some point in time you have to start paying for it. And those are in there too. So I have there's a book that's called What Got You Here Won't Get You There. And that's very much the way marketing works. Howdy, Colin. How are you?
Hi, ladies. I'm great. I just wanted to come in on the side and jump in the chair there from the side and say that I really enjoyed the show. There's a lot of great information there, and you put it across in a way that's both eloquent but easy to take on board.
Good. Thank you. That's one of my gifts.
My pleasure. My pleasure. So this Shark Tank thing, this has sort of gone a little bit over my head. Obviously, Brits is new to me. So do you want to share with me what the Shark Tank thing is?
Sure. So it is a television show. I'm not even sure, we're off satellite and cable, so we just do things streaming. So I'm not even sure what channel it's on. But there are usually 4 or 5 sharks. So usually it's Mark Cuban. You've got Mr. Wonderful on there. You've got Barbara Cochran. Oh, golly, the lady that's from QVC. You've got a lot of different people. It's Dragon's Den version in the States is what countries go.
Yeah.
So basically, business owners come in and pitch their idea looking for an investment, and they only quote unquote win if they get the full investment that they're looking for. And it's a great PR, I think, for a lot of there are people's sales that triple just by being on the show.
Excellent. It sounds like a great show. Maybe I'll have to try and download it or something off one of the torrents. Did I really say that? But yeah, it sounds like the kind of show I'd like to catch up with. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, have you seen Dragon's Den?
Yes, we have the equivalent over here with Alan Sugar, etc., and the sort of big business minds, I suppose. So I can relate to the concept. I love your accent, by the way.
Oh,
I can sit and listen to Americans all day, but yours has just got that something.
It's a little bit of a blend of everything. I don't quite sound all Texan, but traveled enough international. I think I pick up bits and pieces that I like. Splendid,
marvelous. I didn't want to share that. I don't want to take too much time up in case they want to come in on from the side. So I'll just say it's a pleasure meeting you both.
Thank you.
And hopefully we'll catch up another time.
Well, best of luck. Hopefully we'll see you on another show.
You will. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye. So, well, that was kind of fun. Thanks, Colin, for coming on. I really like that. But we'll get an opportunity for one more person to kind of come in here. But, the one thing that always kind of drives me a little nuts on Shark Tank is it's really best for products, and it's best for people that can churn a lot of units. While I've run product sides of businesses, I will say I love the high value, the pricing of service models. It just seems a lot more fun for me. I'm not sure how about for you, but that's what we're looking at. Well, today, guys, thank you so much for joining us on the 7 Shark Tank Secrets to Small Business Success. We'll be back here next Monday. I was trying to see if I could pop open our topics for the week. Give me just a second. Let me do it. There it is. And what are we going to be talking about? I have to look at this. Or Amy, do you know off the top of your head? Because you've already done our stuff.
Sure. Next week, we're talking about savoring the success.
Oh, fun. Okay, so bring your pom-poms, your champagne, your party hats, and your tooting horns, because we're going to talk about something that most business owners stink at. They suck. I'm just going to say it's horrible. It is deplorable, and we're just going to talk about some fun ways to celebrate the success that you have in your business, no matter how teeny tiny or how big, and why it's important to the success and really should be part of your success formula. So with that, I'm going to call the show to a close. Thanks to Amy for hanging out with me today, and thanks to all of our fun people on the chat for interacting and providing a little comic humor out there as well. So join us next Monday at 1:30 here on Blab. You can, by all means, check out our website at yourbizrules.com, and we typically have the show notes page posted there as well as our next episode. With that, have a beautiful day to your success, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.